Hi, and welcome back to Bounce Forward with me, Tiff Hall. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders past and present. Have you ever wondered, what the heck is a calorie deficit? What does it do, and how many calories do I need to eat and burn and all of that jazz? We go through all of that today. I have a fantastic question here from Natasha. How do you get in a calorie deficit? So I eat 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day. Does that mean I have to burn more calories than that? Just seems like a lot to burn in a day. Thanks, Tiff. Oh, such a great question, because it is about creating a deficit, calories in versus calories out, and making sure that you're not overeating or overtraining or undertraining or undereating. It's a tricky balance. And creating a calorie deficit involves burning more calories than you consume. Pretty simple. This can be achieved through dietary changes, increased exercise, or a combination of both. So let's start with the energy your body needs to keep you alive. This is called your basal metabolic rate, your BMR. So it's not just if you eat 1,200 calories, you have to burn 1,200 calories, because you're actually burning more than that. Your BMR is the number of calories your body needs to perform basic life-sustaining functions like blinking your eyelids, breathing, any kind of twitching, yawning. And your BMR calculations, you can do these online, and they use factors like your age, your gender, your weight, height to estimate how many calories you need at rest, doing absolutely nothing, just sitting there watching Netflix. Next, you need to determine your daily caloric needs. So find out how many calories you need to maintain your current weight. So you multiply your BMR by any activity factor. So that's like sedentary, lightly active, moderately active, or very active. And this gives you maintenance calories. And you can do this in all kinds of apps. You can do it online. You just need to Google BMR and this will pop up, okay? Super simple. To lose weight, you'll need to create a deficit from your maintenance calories, okay? So a deficit is 500 to 1,000 calories per day less than what your maintenance is. It's recommended for a safe amount of sustainable weight loss, equating to about half a kilo to a kilo, and I think that's very sustainable. However, the size of the deficit can vary depending on, a lot of individual factors. Then all you need to do is reduce your calorie intake and adjust your diet by eating smaller portions, by choosing lower calorie foods, focusing on nutrient-dense whole foods that are high in vitamins, minerals, and fiber, but low in calories, such as fruits, vegetables. I'm always banging on about it, lean proteins and whole grains, right? And avoid or limit the high calorie, low nutrient foods, the sugary snacks, the fatty foods, and alcohol, all right? I know, it's tricky. Then you increase your physical activity, right? You engage in regular exercise, walking, running, swimming, cycling, strength training, and you burn some calories. Incorporating some strength training is really great, at least 2 sessions a week, because that will build the muscle mass, which helps increase your metabolism and increase your BMR, right? And the more active you are, the more calories you burn, which contribute to that larger deficit. Then you want to track your progress. So keep a food diary or track what you eat and monitor it in an app. There are some super fantastic apps out there. Chronometer, MyFitnessPal, they're great. And you can track what you eat, what you exercise, you put your BMR in there, and they adjust everything automatically for you. Super simple. And then you just adjust as needed. If you're not seeing results after a few weeks, you may need to reassess your calorie intake. You may need to reassess the exercise you're doing and ensure that you're accurately measuring the portions and not underestimating your calorie intake. And similarly, you don't want to overestimate the intensity or duration of your exercise, okay? So remember, while creating a calorie deficit is essential for weight loss, it's also important to ensure you're still getting enough nutrients to support your body's needs, okay? So yes, you want a deficit, but it's only like 500 calories. And if a meal is like 350 calories, you're looking at taking a meal and a snack away. So you really want to make sure that you're getting good quality nutrients in, and it's always good to consult with a healthcare provider or a dietitian before starting anything new, and just making sure that you don't have any underlying health conditions. But quality of food is always really important over the quantity of food. So the quality of food is super, super important, because you can eat more. If you're eating quality whole foods, you're eating more foods, you're more satiated, and you feel fuller for longer because you're eating that quality protein, the quality good fats. So it's really great for your body and your gut and your brain and all those other things that are important too, not just the number on the scales. Secondly, I get asked a lot, okay, I'm in a deficit, I'm losing lots of weight, and then I hit a plateau. Okay, so do I make that deficit bigger? What do I do? No, you don't change the deficit. So really working within 500 to 1,000 calories less of your maintenance calories is really important. Don't go too far. I would never go under 1,200 calories. Never, because then your body isn't getting enough nutrients and it goes into starvation mode, and it will start storing food and thinking, I'm not going to get fed here. I need to store and use it, and different energy systems kick in and things. So you never want to go below 1,200 calories. So then what you need to reassess is the intensity of your exercise, the frequency of your exercise, and maybe that's about putting some sit in there, some sprint interval training, or you may want to increase the weights that you're using in your resistance program, in your weights program, increase your strength, which will increase your muscle mass, which then will recomposition your body. So you've got more lean muscle mass, less fat, and that will help you to kickstart any plateau. But it does take time. You have to know that does take time. The other thing is, if you've been in a deficit for a long time and you've been dieting for a long time, you might need to kickstart your metabolism with some carb cycling, or maybe, a being a bit more flexible with your meals. So you might want to go out for dinner, or just forget about being on a deficit one weekend and just be uninhibited. And what that can do is that can kickstart your metabolism, and it can really help you to get through a plateau, and then you go back on the deficit again, because the body, it's really interesting, and there's a lot in carb cycling, and I can come back to that. But if you are limiting yourself from carbs to create a deficit, which I don't recommend, then putting some good carbohydrates in there, like some brown rice, some sweet potato. I put sweet potato in my morning omelets, for example. That can really help to replenish your body and get through a plateau. But I can come back to carb cycling in another episode. I think it would be really interesting. But yeah, check on your intensity. Don't lower those calories any further. And that's something that came up a lot on The Biggest Loser, because my contestants would always say, I've got to go lower on my calories. And I'd be like, whoa, no way. We're not going under 1,200. But it's a competition. We need to be eating 500 calories a day. And it was so dangerous. And I would never let them go below 1,200 calories. It was always about reassessing the exercise, the sleep, the other factors that contribute to your deficit, not the food. Thanks so much for listening to Bounce Forward. I love having your company, so please DM me questions on Instagram at tiffhall_xo and let me know what topics you'd love me to cover. Don't forget to rate and review me on your podcast app. Speak soon. Happy days.